I'm happy that you are here in person, and I hope we have some people also watching us on the website as well. You can do that by, you can watch it anytime actually by just going into our website and finding any back board meetings that we've had as well. There is no open forum this evening, but that's another topic that I'd like to just mention, that if there's ever in the future a desire for somebody to address the school board for any reason, positive, negative, or in between, you're welcome to do so. Just contact our secretary, Janelle, and she will walk you through it and get you set up for the open forum. But it does have to be done by 12 noon on the day of the school board meeting. The next item is the roll call, and Janelle, please note that all 7 board members are present. Now we'll begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. And now we'll go on to item number 4, and that's Spotlight on Success. And we have 2 actually spotlights, but we'll do the Raven Stream first.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having us here tonight. We've been looking forward to this. Since joining New Prague Area Schools and Raven Stream, I have greatly appreciated and valued the community that is here. And our Raven Stream vision states that at Raven Stream will empower students to own their learning academically, socially, and emotionally, leading to impactful lifelong growth. Together, we create a safe and welcoming environment for all. And so tonight we want to just spotlight ourselves a few different ways that we really work to build community within our school and outside of our school. So we're going to start with Ann Studer and Kara Brandt, and they're going to talk a little bit about inclusion.
All right, my name is Ann Studer, and I am one of the speech-language pathologists at Raven Stream. And over the past few years, the demographics of our student needs have evolved at Raven Stream, and we are now seeing more non-speaking autistic students who benefit from augmentative and alternative communication, which is AAC for short, and they use communication devices to support them throughout their day. AAC refers to tools, strategies, and technologies used to support or replace spoken language for individuals with communication difficulties. It includes low-tech options like picture boards, kind of like the ones that Mrs. Brandt handed out to you guys, sign language, writing, and high-tech options such as speech-generating devices and tablet apps. And we currently have 8 students at Raven Stream who use tablet apps to help them communicate. And some of the amazing ways our students are sharing their voices are through morning announcements, jokes in the hallway, classroom presentations, and daily greetings. Mrs. Brandt has so graciously let me join her classroom this year. About 2 times a month I go in there to provide education around communication and to help the students learn more about core boards and how to use them and how it might feel if they could only communicate by typing their thoughts out on an app. And they really enjoy it. And you guys will get to be our students in a little bit. Our PAC also funded a larger core board for our kids to have out at recess, which is increasing accessibility and inclusivity. Our ASD students have provided us an opportunity to educate our general education students on how people learn differently. They have taught their classmates about empathy and how strengths look different in each of us. Through inclusion opportunities, we can all learn and grow, and each of these students has taught me so much as an adult, so I can only imagine the depth of the positive impact they are having on their peers. It has been so fun to see the growth and connections these students have made since they began at Raven Stream. It has been incredible to be a recipient of the joy and love each of these students bring each day to school. So now if you guys want to take out your core boards, so when I go into Miss Brandt's classroom, each student has a little, a core board, and this looks like what some of the home screen looks like on some of our students' devices. And so we do different activities like karaoke, where we'll pick a song and then they have to find one specific word in the song on their board as the song plays, or we'll read books, or we have a hidden bag and they get to pick things out of the bag and then they have to describe to their classmates what it looks like. And so we do a variety of different fun activities, and the kids really love it, and the connections between all of the students is really fun to see. So I'm going to have you see if you guys can find I Need Help. First one to get it, raise your hand. Awesome. Okay, and I Want to Play. Can you find the whole phrase?
Yep.
Aye.
And if you see, there's different color codes. So like red are going to be your I, your pronouns. The red is going to be more of your verbs. And then your green are more your function words. And then on the bottom, too, if you look, there's little folders that will take you different places. So this is just the home screen. You can type into people, so you can really personalize the device for the student's classroom teacher, classmates, friends, whatever. Their family can be in there. And then food, feelings, chat, lots of different areas. So it takes them a lot of different places. So it's just been really fun to see all of the kids work together and really enjoy learning about this as well.
Thanks, Ann. All right, Mr. Drazen. Brad Drazen is going to share a little bit about how we've built community around our profile of a graduate at Ravenstream this year.
We've done a number of things with the profile of a graduate. Through some examples would be with announcements that Mr. Engelbretson makes each morning. We have school assemblies where we focus on a specific one. New this year, we've each class at Ravenstream has a buddy class, and we've designed activities for them to do. So my 5th grade class is buddy. We're actually with 2 kindergarten classes, and so about once a month, we get together with them and we have some activity around a profile of a graduate concept. It's great for the 5th graders to be leaders with the kids and to talk them through it and to help, the kindergartners come across challenges, or, one we did, perseverance was one where we were doing some activities where we were building and the 5th graders had to help guide them. It's great lifelong skills, I think, that are so critical to learning, that there's so much overlap, like that perseverant again. If you're learning to read, you have to be perseverant because you're going to come across challenges. And as you grow, those challenges only get larger. And so we're hopefully building a nice foundation for the kids as they move forward in life. So, yeah, it's been good to see our whole school adopt it and really take it and run.
Brad, when you have your 5th graders work with the kindergartners off and on throughout the year, do the same 5th graders work with the same kindergartners then each time? So you have them kind of paired up? Okay.
Yeah. It's great. The teacher that I'm with, Mrs. Whitty, and then Mrs. Schenecker too, the kids, 5th graders and kindergartners are begging about once a week to get together with their buddies. They love it, and it's kind of turned into it's a cool mentorship thing. Like if they're walking past our room, it kind of stops everything that's going on, but it's a really cool deal.
I'm sure those are really strong relationships too.
For sure.
Thanks, Brad. Then the last piece around building community is we've really worked to increase the amount of opportunities we have for our families to interact with each other, so that building outside the community. So really that's come through our PAC, our Parent Advisory Committee, And so we've for years had things like the family fun night with the bounce houses and the food trucks, and lots of great attendance to that. And we usually start the year with a family picnic. And but in the last couple of years, we've really looked for more creative ways outside of the school to get our families together. So this year we had a pizza party at the ATA Taekwondo that families could come and stop by. A couple of years in a row now, we've had a great group that goes to Feed My Starving Children in Chanhassen. And so, you know, we've got parents, siblings, younger siblings, older siblings with some of our staff together. We've had a couple of years in a row now a movie night in the gym. That's just one of my favorites. Everybody brings their blankets, and we have blow-up couches and things like that show up. And our student council serves concessions, so that's they love that night. Skating night at the rink the last couple of years, and that's been great. This year we had our first spring fling dance, so I wasn't sure what that would be like, and it was great. Kids just loved it. Parents loved it. So that's been really important too for us, and just kind of connecting the dots for everybody within and outside the school. So a little bit about community at Ravenstream, and Anne's going to wrap us up.
One of our former colleagues, Katie Lockram, was a vibrant, loving soul who had a profound impact on so many of our staff and students. She exhibited all the attributes that we are looking for with our profile of a graduate, and was a queen of inclusion. She left us with a quote that we share throughout our announcements weekly, that the kids actually share over the announcements, that we will leave with you tonight. Just keep smiling, love others, and just be a good human.
Thank you.
Thank you. Building community and equity and inclusion are all very important things, and it's wonderful that you highlight those. Thank you very much. Now we'll go on to the second spotlight, and that is the National Individual Events Tournament of Champions Speech Competition.
While Janelle's getting the slideshow set up, we have probably around a third of the speech team with us tonight to talk about this. We 6 through 12 have around 23, 24 on the team, and tonight we brought 10 who were able to make it. And the last couple of years, oh, by the way, I'm Coach Sam Lewis, if you haven't met me before. Been coaching with the high school team now for about 4 seasons, and I've done the middle school side for years and years, and been part of the speech world for 13 years. And the last 2 years, when we've come to present to you about success of our season and things we're looking forward to, it's always been a lot of me talking. And so tonight we're making a point to have them do more of the talking. So we are on a timed slideshow that we practiced earlier. They are a little nervous. While Janelle's getting ready, how about we have you guys just introduce yourselves real quick? If you guys want to pop up to the mic, whoever was going first.
I'm Rowan Anderson. I'm a junior. I compete in duo interpretation, and I've been in speech for 3 years.
I'm Eric Thielbar. I'm a sophomore. I've been in speech for 1 year, and I was in great speeches this year.
I'm Lily Kiefer. I'm a sophomore. I've been in speech for 5 years, and I'm in original oratory.
I'm Kennedy Myers. I'm a junior. I've been in speech for 3 years, and my category this year was X reading.
I'm Anna Ingebrand. I'm a junior. I am in duo interpretation, and I've been in speech for 5 years.
So I'm Harley Floyd. I'm a junior. My categories this year were poetry and duo interpretation, and I've been in speech for 5 years. I'm going to start our presentation with going over what speech is. Speech is an activity where students choose their category and their piece, and they become the master of that category and that piece throughout the season. They're expected to expand on their public speaking skills, including soft skills during competition. It was introduced to the Minnesota State High School League in 1929 and has followed the same format since 1969. We have a variety of options for speech, which is my favorite part of it. We have public address categories, which include things like original oratory or persuasive speeches. We have interpretation categories, which are very similar to acting. And we have draw categories where you don't know what you're speaking on until 30 minutes before you present, and discussion where a group of people work on a collective issue together. There's usually 4 rounds in a tournament, although some have 3 if it's a smaller competition.
So really, like, the big news for this year is that we got an assistant coach. Her name is Miss Charlton. She's a science teacher at New Prague High School. She was a former member of Northfield Speech, and she has judged multiple meets. And she brought a lot of insights and really has helped the team, especially me, with it being my first year. I really appreciated her being on the team.
All right, these are some statistics. As a team, we compete in 10 of the 13 categories. We have competed at 11 invitational meets. We also were able to get 3 team awards in the small team division, up from 1 in the 24-25 season. We got 2nd place at TCU, 3rd place at Owatonna, and 1st at Howard Lake. We got 9 first places throughout the entire season, up from the 5 in the 24-25 season. At any given tournament, at least 3 competitors broke finals and placed among the top 6 in their category. For most tournaments, we would have around 5 to 7 individuals breaking finals.
Okay, so the next thing is what you guys have on your little sheet, which is called NITAC. So NITAC stands for the National Individual Events Tournament of Champions. So this is like the national speech tournament. And to go to this, you have to get 2 bids throughout the year at select tournaments with certain guidelines. And a lot of those means your category has to be big enough, and you have to place in usually the top 6. Sometimes it's top 3 or first place. This year, NITAC will be actually at Shakopee High School from May 7th to 9th. And then Lily Kiefer, which that's me, has earned bids to compete in original oratory at NITAC.
Excuse me, is NITAC open to the public? Can watch? Okay, thanks.
And then finally, we just have some pictures that we've taken throughout the season. For example, at sections, we try to spell out the word speech with our bodies. Yes. That's up in the main top section. And then we also have a couple people that couldn't make it today, down over at the bottom. We have Humphrey from our middle school team and Gavin over in the corner, also from our middle school team, that weren't able to make it today. Now, the rest of the team is going to come up and introduce themselves, and then I think we'll be done.
My name's Cooper Christensen. I've been in speech for 5 or 6 years, and I do duo and prose.
Hi, my name is Molly Stika. I am a junior. I've been in speech for 2 years, and my categories are poetry interpretation and duo interpretation.
My name is Elizabeth Sietsma. I am a junior. This is my 3rd year in speech, and my category is prose.
I am Camille Copeland. I am a sophomore. This is my 2nd year in speech, and I'm in creative oratory. Creative expression.
I have a question. First of all, thank you for coming. It's so enjoyable to hear from each of you, and great job. A few of you have had a lot of experience, and so I'm wondering if any of you are planning to go into any kind of profession, maybe, that would lend itself to public speaking or speech. Can I just see a showing of hands? Can we see? Awesome. Really good. Well, good luck and congratulations.
What qualifies getting a bid? What stands out, or how's that process work?
Yeah, okay. Okay, so getting a bid, you have to get 2 of them. Usually if your category is big enough and it's a big tournament, NITAC allows you to give out bids. And depending on how big your category is, if you have over 30 people, it's usually 1st through 6th place if you break finals. If you break it, you automatically get a bid. And yeah, I mean, they're at really big tournaments, and so usually when you have a lot of people in your category, they're harder to get, so.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Farmington, there were
How?
Awesome.
That is
Congratulations.
so impressive, just so impressive.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you.
Thank
And
you.
at sections, she was category of 30 something. I told her on the bus that's nothing.
No kidding, no kidding. I'm sorry, what grade are you in?
10th grade.
Okay. Thank you.
What's impressive too is you've just kept on getting better and better as the years are going by. That's great. Yeah, wonderful.
Is there a way that you can fill out all the categories?
Have one person in every category?
Well, at least put one in, because you don't, discussion was my thing, and you don't have anybody in discussion, do you?
Not this year, but we used to.
Okay.
Oh, Daniel, I apologize.
Oh,
Sorry,
good.
we did have one, Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah, and some teams do that, where they try and push everybody category. We tend
Yeah, that makes sense. That's great. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Well, we
Thank
have a
you so
tradition.
much for coming.
Oh, we have a tradition before we let them go of putting on these really cool glasses and then wearing them to school the next day, all day, and taking a quick picture before you leave. But let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you very much. So come on up, please.
Whenever. There you go. Now you think about your speech in my mind was.
How about we take a quick picture over? Drawing a red
Oh, really? Oh.
for us as well.
Where do you even find them on our website? Like, I can't find them under activities or club activities.
Thanks
for coming,
again.
guys.
Okay, moving on. Since there is no open forum, item number 6 is approval of the agenda, and there was no change to the agenda. Is that correct, Dr. Velmuth? Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Then we'll go on to the consent agenda. And before the meeting started, Dan requested that item 512, policy number 512, be pulled from the consent agenda, and we will discuss that one separately. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with that one change.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Dan, why don't we just go ahead and address item 512 of the consent agenda and deal
Sure
with
thing.
that right now.
All right, I am opposed to policy 512 as written because it would allow administrators to restrict student speech based solely on how a third party might react, rather than on the content of the speech itself. Section 4B correctly sets guardrails with the following restrictions: obscene, defamatory, profane, harassing, threatening, or intimidating, invasion of privacy, violation of federal or state law, directing or inciting lawless action or violations of school policy, advertising illegal products or services, advocating for sexual, racial, or religious harassment, violence, or prejudice, and violating reasonable time, place, and manner regulations. These are all reasonable limits. However, I ask that you remove item 6, speech that causes a material and substantial disruption of school activities. On its face, this may sound sensible. In practice, it means the only speech that gets suppressed solely for this reason is speech that violates none of the other rules, but that some listeners dislike enough to disrupt or intimidate others into silence. We say we support diverse viewpoints and want our schools to be welcoming to all. If that is our goal, we must discipline the disruptors rather than punish students who are following our rules. Some may argue that we will not necessarily use this provision, but simply want the option. That is exactly why it should be removed. We have no active controversies today. If we are unwilling to state clearly up front that we will always enforce rules against the actual wrongdoers instead of silencing compliant students, then we are signaling how we will respond when pressure comes. Rewarding the loudest or most extreme reactions erodes trust, decency, and peace in our schools. I urge the school board to remove this clause from Policy 512 and strike the material and substantial disruption piece.
Thank you. Are there any other comments concerning policy number 512 from the policy committee or anybody else? Not? I'll entertain a motion to approve policy number 512.
So moved.
Oh, we have a motion to approve.
I move that to, so moved. Let's say
Is
that
there a
way.
second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additional comments or questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Item passes 6-1. Okay, next we're moving on to item 7, and that is the, no. Okay, next we'll move on to item number 8, board committee reports. And I'll lead off by addressing the Special Education Advisory Council, and we had no meeting since our last board meeting. And then we did have our Southwest Metro Intermediate District meeting last Tuesday. And at that meeting, there was a lot of good times had by recognizing people that have worked hard during the previous or during this school year and earning actually recognition. It was kind of an awards night for a number of the people that were nominated and received some special honors. And we also honored our superintendent for getting an award that he received. And he turned around and actually honored the board members for doing such a good job of putting the strategic plan in effect and using it correctly. And so he even gave us a little notoriety as well. So it's kind of a feel-good beginning to that meeting. Then we had a rather long AI discussion concerning an item that is being developed by Southwest Metro, and that is the use of AI to help in evaluating teachers. Teachers are evaluated on a yearly basis, and our superintendent, through some other people that he's worked with, has come up with a method of streamlining or using AI to facilitate the use of that particular instrument to help evaluate teachers. And he's gotten a lot of good feedback from people that he's presented it to. And so we talked a lot about, what will be the format of it, who will be in charge of it, a lot of questions. When you do something new like this, a lot of questions arise. And I'm sure the teachers' unions will be wondering, is this the good way of going about evaluating teachers, or using AI to address evaluating teachers? So, it's a work in progress, let's put it that way, but it sounds very interesting. One of the benefits is that it takes a long time to do individual staff members. You have every teacher has to be evaluated. So if there's some way of using a program AI program that would facilitate a quicker review of teachers' success in their presentations and things like this, it would be beneficial. So again, stay tuned because this is a work in progress. I forgot to mention, Andy was our guest superintendent at the last meeting. So if I have any need for correction or any input from you, I'll be very happy to accept it. We also had a very nice report from a couple of programs, alternative learning programs. Southwest Metro operates alternative learning programs just like we have here in our own district. And a lot of districts also maintain their own alternative learning systems. But sometimes even those do not meet the needs of the students in their home districts. So we offer alternative learning programs in Southwest Metro as well. So we had a nice report on the high school program and also the lower grades program as well. And finally, we had our monthly reports given by the directors, and things are going quite well at Southwest Metro. Any additions or corrections? Thanks, Andy.
I think you covered it really well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll go on to item 8.02, and that is the Legislative Committee. Or Ann.
Yeah, I'll take it. Well, we shared an update with you during our work session on the 13th, and that update included our purpose statement and rationale for our platform priorities, which was specific to the New Prague Area Schools District. We met again as a committee on Wednesday, April 15th. We discussed that same working draft, as well as our next steps, including aligning ourselves with MSBA, MASA, SAF, or AMSD. No decision was made, but we are still discerning. We also discussed using an e-blast, all of which would require board approval. We're really just positioning ourselves for the work that'll need to be done in the next legislative session. The committee members continue to closely follow the final weeks of the legislative session, getting updates from several sources, including SAF meetings, MSBA Friday virtual chats, and emails from MASA. And if anyone is interested in ongoing updates at the legislature, the MSBA dashboard is a great place to start.
Anything else to add, Dan?
Nope.
Okay, thanks, Ann. Next, we'll go on to community education.
Community education met on April 14th. The first thing we did when we got together was we toured Studio 2 because they are now offering virtual fitness classes in that studio. So you can sign up and go on your own. You can sign up as a group, but you can do it at a time when it works for you, because obviously the regular fitness classes don't always work for people at work. So, and talked about the upcoming fall winter catalog. Do not have a date yet, but they're working on that. And then a big topic that we talked about was just if there was one program or idea, they were trying to get feedback from us. And so if anybody else has ideas or something that they are not offering in community ed that you would want considered, let me know or let Sandy Loxton know. And that was pretty much it.
Are they always looking for new ideas?
They are.
The idea. Yep, always.
Yep.
Trying to find something new. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Kim. The next one is the early childhood community education.
Okay, early childhood, we met on April 16th, and the purpose of the early childhood committee is to have activities for families and their children to be part of, host those, as well as raise funds for the classroom and the teachers, and to support the classroom. We have a vehicle fair coming up on Wednesday, May 13th from 6 to 7:30. It's in the CEC parking lot. Come hungry. There'll be food available for purchase, and also there'll be T-shirts available for purchase as well for the kids. Overall, enrollment is going really great. There was a McDonald's fundraiser. Just over $2,000 is raised, which is fantastic. And next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. looking forward to that, where this group of people has facilitated some fun things for all the teachers every day of the week. So,
Thank you so much, Jean.
you're welcome.
And next we go to item 8.05, Finance and Facilities Joint Powers Committee. Carrie, please.
Yep. So finance and facilities, we had two community members that applied and joined our committee, and they joined us for the first time in our April 15th meeting. Some of the topics that we talked about was the cost savings recognized by the early retirement, which has been presented. Some of our working sessions and how that all panned out. We reviewed the budget process timeline for actuals and next year's budget, and then tonight there will be the first step of that in talking about this year's actuals. We started talking about the framework around future capital work that was discussed as part of the Facilities Committee last spring, and how that's what that looks like along with future funding needs, and then overall just great discussion with everybody.
Thank you. Next, we go on to the Community Coalition. Oh, wait, am I on the right
Joint
one?
powers.
Joint power, I'm sorry, joint power.
We don't have anything this meeting.
Did not meet? Okay, thank you. Next, item 8.06, the Equity Committee. And Andy and I have been discussing this, as well as Karen. She has been involved as well. And we're looking at a new kind of a framework for this rather than a committee. Would you like to say a few words about it, Andy?
Yeah, I think we had a really healthy discussion at our, hard to believe it's April, but our last study session earlier 2 weeks ago. And I'm planning to bring that discussion back to the board to talk about next steps with the Equity Committee, what it should look like, where it should be placed, and bring some of the feedback that you got, that I got from you 2 weeks ago to our meeting in 2 weeks to kind of decide what are the most appropriate next steps.
And what we had as far as the presentation this evening from Ravenstream kind of fits what we might be looking at as far as the model is concerned, where the building, the sites actually take on the responsibility of dealing with the inclusion and equity type of programs.
I think that the implementation of site-based leadership teams, and a component of it being our student and staff supports, gives us a place to do this work on a regular basis. And I think if you think about the work of the surveys that we have commissioned and updating our surveys, that really gives our staff at the site level data to do this work on a regular and ongoing basis. And I think the will of the group, at least that was where we were at last week, is to have some, how do we give you as board an update on the work of not just the student staff supports, but the teaching and learning group, the PD and the professional development. And I think those are fair and appropriate discussions to have. So again, I think more to come. We'll discuss again in 2 weeks. But I think that we all believed, what I heard from you is that the work continues. We do the work at the building level, and give the teams good data to do that work. And that's where the work would sit from this point going forward, at least for now.
It seems so much more practical rather than having a committee that's not a part of it be addressing it, and rather than the actual site itself working on doing things that are the best for the children right there in their facilities.
Yeah, I would just say that the board needs to consider what their options are, and again, we'll carry the discussion forward in 2 weeks. If you have questions about next steps, I think I'd ask for you to kind of give those to me in advance so I can flesh them out for you in advance of our meeting in 2 weeks. But I think it's a logical next step. So more to come.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Andy. Okay, next we have the District Advisory Committee.
I'll take that. We met for our final meeting of the school year on Monday, April 13th. Staff, students, parents, and school board were all represented. And our agenda included finalizing some revisions to the reconsideration process, reviewing current policy draft 606 and 606.5, which will be some of our first policy reads this evening, I believe. and establishing the framework for upcoming CTE programming and staff training requirements. It was a great discussion and with everyone participating, so.
And finally, Committee 8.08, New Prague Area Education Foundation. Jean?
Okay. There is a meeting tonight, actually, same time, same place, just a different room. So we just came through our 3rd annual Give MP Day, and we are going, right now, we have got about 14,000 collected, and we're going to come in at about 16,000. And as a reminder, that all goes to scholarships. So just for our students. And an interesting thing to note, we've had an increase of about 2,000 year over year in collections. So really turning out to be a successful event.
Very good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, next we'll go on to item number 10. I'm sorry, item number 9, Superintendent Report.
Yeah, I would just, it was mentioned earlier, and I would remind this, it wasn't in my notes, but next week we celebrate our teachers throughout the New Prague area schools, and we're very fortunate to have wonderful staff in front of our students. We have great staff, and we have, the next week is an opportunity to thank a teacher for all the work that they do. So if our board members or people who are listening in the audience have an opportunity to send a note, do something to show your appreciation, I would encourage that. Spring is always a time of celebration. Believe it or not, as I wrote this last week, a little less than a month from now, hopefully on a beautiful and not windy night at Trojan Stadium, we will have close to 340 students who are eligible to graduate. And so that will be on the evening, weather permitting, of Friday, May 22nd. Senior Honors Night is on Wednesday, May 6th, where we will celebrate seniors who receive awards and/or scholarships. And again, that's a great opportunity for the Education Foundation to show the great things that they do. And it's not just Education Foundation, but they're a key player in that. We're very excited that this Friday at the high school, we're going to have our first ever New Prague High School Education Signing Day. You know, when athletes sign to go to college, there's usually a big event, and they invite their parents, and those are special opportunities, and we'll continue to do that. But Miss Elson, who's an instructor in our education class, will be hosting 15 students along with their parents, and they can invite a special teacher guest. And on Friday morning, those who are going off to make a decision to become an educator, they're going to have a signing day for them at the high school. And I think that's just a really cool way to recognize those students as we look to grow some of our own to go into this wonderful profession. A couple bits of gratitude. We would like to recognize our athletic director, Brad Skogerbo, who will be leaving his position at the end of this school year. Brad has served this district for 18 years as an AD. Brad has a steadying presence and deserves a great deal of credit for the work that he has done throughout his tenure to ensure that not only our student athletes and the coaches have what they need to ensure high quality extracurricular experiences, and that those are indeed a defining feature of this district, and I believe they are. Brad will be sorely missed, and we look forward to future opportunities to celebrate his service orientation and leadership to the district in the weeks to come. And then last week, we celebrated Administrative Assistants Week for the New Prague area schools. And somebody else who doesn't like a lot of attention drawn to them or her, special thanks to Janelle, my executive assistant and your executive assistant, for all the work that she does. For anybody who knows the work of the board, we know how important and the critical role that Janelle and our other administrative assistants do. So join me in giving her a big round of applause, as well as our other administrative assistants. And she will make me pay for that tomorrow. But thank you for everything you do. That's it.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, next we go on to the reports and discussion of the first readings of the policies.
Me? Okay. First policy 606, textbooks and instructional materials. The purpose of this policy is to provide direction for selection of textbooks and instructional materials. This is a legislative policy. Questions or concerns, Anne?
None.
Kim?
No.
Danny?
None.
Carrie?
I have a laundry list of them on like 3 of these that I'm gonna send over afterwards with it detailed out. But just some broad themes of this one. Person adding in staff or employees instead of just having parents and adult students. The detail that we're taking out in section 4B about what qualifies as good standards for textbooks, and the broad, it's kind of more broadly put in the beginning of it, and we talked about putting it into the procedure, just some of that stuff, just thoughts on that and why we're doing some things, why we're not doing things, and then the overall concept of why we're making or proposing making so many revisions to these policies within the standard model when we don't do that with other policies.
And you'll send those, or I didn't catch, because you're
Yes.
talking globally about all 3 together?
Kind of, yeah. I don't. I'm not gonna kill it.
So you'll share that with us so that we can?
Yes. Yeah, I'll send it out to the whole board.
Then share it back to
Yeah, I'll
all
do
of
what I
us?
normally do.
All of us?
Yes.
Jean?
No.
Dan?
Yeah, mine is a general concern about clarity in what we want up front. It's a very general and ambiguous policy.
Is that a different way? What do you mean by that?
It is not, the standards of what we want to bring in are not very clear in the policy. It's very ambiguous and would not be interpreted at all consistently between a wide variety of people.
Policy 606P, which is textbooks and instructional materials reconsideration procedure. The following procedures outline the process for reconsideration of instructional materials. Access to the material in question shall not be restricted until the procedures listed below have been fully completed and a decision to remove or restrict the materials has been made. This, Andy, help me out here. This applies to the legislative policy above it, 606, right? But this is something that we created locally with the help of MSBA.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
technically, we would call this a local one.
Yes.
Okay. And I know it says in the policy itself that the superintendent or whoever he designates will write this policy, the procedures. So I think that's where that came from. Questions or comments, Dan?
General discussion just on what the implications of the changes are, how it actually works in practice, and whether or not it's the most efficient way to get feedback back.
Are you speaking to the proposal to the change of the appeal process specifically?
I did not spend nearly
Sure.
as much time this time around, so generally I'll want to discuss a policy, like this one requires a meeting. I don't believe the old one did require a meeting, and there's several changes like that, and depending upon what the implications of those are, I might think it's great or not.
Jean?
No.
Gary?
I think with this one, again, I'll send my stuff, the distinction between the reconsideration of textbook material versus library stuff, I think is pretty different. And I think what we're trying to do is shove both of those into the same policy. And so,
There's 2 separate policies.
well, it's the same policy, but
Oh.
procedure, sorry. I'll use the right word.
Oh.
Procedure kind of mimics each other, and I think that the one for textbooks was built off the one that appears in the library policy. So I think we'll just have to make some clear distinction there.
So you're looking for a separate procedure for textbooks and a separate procedure for library?
Or just called out within it, because I think right now it just kind of blends them together.
I'm okay with what we have.
No.
No concerns.
Policy 606.5, library materials. The purpose of this policy is to provide direction and to delegate responsibility for selection and reconsideration of library materials. This is a legislative policy, and if I'm gonna say this right, all of this information was in with the textbooks and instructions, and we just separated them out. Is that correct, Andy? Am I saying that right?
I believe that was the case. I would defer back to Director of Academic Services, Mar Baller, who's
think
not
that's
here
right.
tonight, but I believe that's the discussion. Yes.
We didn't have that policy prior to this.
We did not. This
brand
is a new policy that we're proposing.
But basically,
Yes.
the information in this policy was taken from the other one and created.
Yes,
as a standalone.
to separate the two out, the
Okay.
textbooks and the
So
instructional.
it's easier to see, I guess.
Material, excuse me, the library materials versus instructional materials.
Ann?
No, no concerns.
Kim?
No.
Jenny?
Okay.
Carrie?
Same.
Jean?
Good.
Dan?
And for me, the concern of, does it provide any concrete guidance of what belongs in the libraries and not? And then for me, I prefer the same process for reconsideration, just with different criteria based upon which policy you're comparing it to for standard, if that makes sense, or a similar flow. It's always weird when you have, the more processes you have that do similar things, you know, it can get a little difficult to manage and know the rules of which is which.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but I think there is like some distinctions between library and then curriculum type
Yep,
stuff.
especially on criteria and specifying that and who's reviewing and, you know, some of that kind of stuff.
Policy 623, eligible, and in parentheses I put mandatory summer school instruction. Purpose of this policy is to establish program parameters and student attendance guidelines and requirements for school district relating to the provision of eligible or mandatory summer school educational services. This is legislative. Ann?
No concerns.
Kim?
No.
Jenny?
None.
Carrie?
No.
Jean?
No.
Ann?
None.
Good to go. And then I just want to call attention to the 606F, which is a request for reconsideration, which is the one that we had, and we're going to rescind that with the new one, so. Okay, I'm good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Item 10.02, projected actual budget.
Evening.
Evening, Brian.
I'm here tonight to present our projected actual budget. First slide here, this we went through the revised FY26 budget that was presented and approved at the January board meeting. Tonight's budget presentation, the projected actual, is a preview and a prediction of where we will end up at the end of the current fiscal year. This is informational, not an action item, so it's really a budget update on how things are going and where we're at as we approach the end of the school year and the fiscal year. Some notes here. The first reading of the FY27 budget will be presented in May, and a second reading and approval will occur in June. The projected actual budget contains all the settled contracts for this year, salary increases of roughly 2.5%. It contains the negotiated early retirement incentive at a cost of $137,911. Some other assumptions that we made at the beginning of the year, cost of $68,853 in the paid family medical leave, and then a 0.75 increase in the employer's share of TRA, which was an increase of $159,312 in unfunded costs. We finished the FY25 year with an audited unassigned fund balance of 14.59%. And right now we're projecting the FY26 unassigned fund balance to come in at 15.37%. Some numbers here for you. Our general fund revenues, we're looking at $52,101,116. Our general fund expenditures at $51,637,489. So our revenues over expenditures of $463,627. You can see our revenues, we're projecting them to go up about $72,000 from the revised budget, and our expenditures to go down just shy of $30,000 from the revised budget. And again, those numbers on the unassigned fund balance finished FY25 at 14.59, projecting to come in at 15.37. The note on the side there, then we have a supplemental packet that's been attached as well with more detailed information, including expenditures by object and then also by program as well. Takes a look, a lot of detail, a lot of numbers here, but I'll draw your attention to the right-hand side there. Those are the different restricted funds that we have in our general fund, and you can see on the right-hand side there, those are the projected fund balances for the end of the fiscal year there, and again, highlighting that 15.37% for the unassigned fund balance. Doing a little bit of a deeper dive here on our general fund, then our revenue categories. You can see our state aid. We're projecting to come in at 82.78% of our total. Our federal to come in at 2.24%. Our property taxes at 11.57%. And then our local revenue to come in at 3.40%. And again, the projected actual coming in about $72,000, $73,000 higher than what it was for the revised budget back in January. The objects then down below there, you can see as normal there, about 83% of our expenditures come from salaries and benefits. Purchase services at 10.23%, supplies at just under 4%, equipment at 2.68%. And then you can see our debt service and our other expenditures there. And again, projecting our expenditures to come in just shy of $30,000 under what we had for the revised budget there. If we break out our expenditures by program rather than by object, taking a look there, you can see our site administration at 2.92%, our district administration at 1.01%, so we have 3.93% for our administration. Support services at 3.5%, regular instruction at 43%, extracurricular activities at 3.7%, vocational instruction at 2.07%, special education at 19.23%, instructional support at 5.85%, pupil support services 8.81%, facilities at 9.05%, and then other financing uses at 0.76%. Taking a look at our Fund 2 and our Fund 4 budgets, our Fund 2 is our nutrition services. And we've talked in the past over the last couple of years about a need to spend down our fund balance in our Fund 2, and we're continuing to work on that there. You can see our revenues we're projecting over on the right-hand side there to come in about just shy of $18,000 less than the revised budget. Expenditures to come in about $180,000 over the revised budget there. Again, we're trying to spend down that fund balance. We've got some equipment needs that we're able to purchase and upgrade some of our equipment, and so that's the reason for the increase in the expenditures there. And so then you can see the change there from deficit spending of about $67,000 to just shy of $265,000 there for the projected actual budget. Community services, you can see down on the bottom half there, we're projecting our revenues to increase by about $8,500 from the revised budget, our expenditures to increase by about $21,552, and so consequently our revenues over expenditures of just shy of $8,000 there for our projected actual budget for the Fund 4, the Community Services Fund. A little bit more detail here, again drawing your attention to the bottom there for the food service, the nutrition services budget. You can see there our revised budget for our revenues was at $3,695,165, projected actual at $3,677,239, so just shy of $18,000 under the revised budget there. And then you can see down at the bottom there the increase in the expenditures by $179,888 there. Taking a look at greater detail here for the Community Services Fund. Again there, the totals for the revenues increasing by $85,515, and then down below, expenditures increasing by $21,552. Then some notes, just next steps here, like I mentioned, in May we'll come to you for the first reading of the FY27 budget. In June we'll have a second reading of that budget, and then along with our LTFM, our 10-year LTFM plan. Some key components or assumptions that we'll be building into the FY27 budget. Salaries will be increasing roughly 3% for all settled contracts, year 2 of the employment contracts. We'll have that increase of roughly $2 million a year in the general fund and operating funds due to the passing of the operating levy in the fall of 2025. We'll then have a full year of paid family and medical leave, an expense of about $140,000. And we'll talk a little bit more next month about a decrease in our compensatory funds of about $133,000 there. And then we'll start to realize the savings generated from the early retirement incentive that we just approved here in FY26. Happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
I have a question, and I see them all the time, but I do have a question. We're assuming that $133,000 decrease in compensatory funds, if there's no change to in the legislative session about hold harmless and holding
Correct.
Compensatory funds harmless.
Correct.
So that's the anticipated loss that we would have if nothing is done.
Correct, if nothing is done.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Next, we go on to item number 11, action items. 11.01.
Mr. Chair, could I just add something? It was brought to our attention that we had a couple of small clerical errors in language on these contracts. And so the contracts that were sent to you, there's a modification that I can tell you about at the beginning of each contract. The new board docs or diligent are the updated changes. So would you like me just to speak them now, or would you like me to speak the changes as we get to each contract?
I'd like it when we get to each contract,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Then if you would just
Is that
give me a
okay with-
minute.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Then I'll kind of give you a heads up as to what the change was. And again, the new documents that are loaded contain the updated language. We were able to go back and work with the bargaining units to make sure that they were okay with those changes, and I think you'll see they're pretty subtle.
Okay, the first one then is 11.01, approval of a master agreement for the 2025-2027 school years with the Transportation Association. Have any questions about this? Not, I'll accept the motion to approve the master agreement.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Would you like that detail? I'm sorry. Would you like me to share what the subtle change was?
Oh, I didn't know there was one for this.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
sorry.
for all. State statute it was pointed out that state statute 120A.44 does not exist, and indeed it doesn't. There was a typo that probably has been there for some time. It is state statute 120A.414, and that has been changed and is part of the current contract. And again, the transportation group was made aware of that.
Okay, thank you. Next, I have had a second. Do we have, yeah, we voted. Okay. Next, we go to 11.02, approval of the master agreement for the 2025-27 school years with the Technology Association. We have a motion to approve.
Do you want him to say?
You can just do it in the discussion.
Okay.
If it's okay with you.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Andy, tell us.
Mr. Boothie and Mr. Fell did a wonderful job working with all the different contracts, but there was one, and this is really true for the Tech Association and the approval of Band C, D, and E. Based on earned safe and sick leave legislation, there is a line that has been updated. It originally read, sick leave for the care of other relatives and safety leave will adhere to Minnesota State Statute 181.9413 up to a maximum of 160 hours during the school year. And due to earned safe and sick leave legislation, that line now reads, sick leave for the care of other relatives and safety leave will adhere to Minnesota State Statute sections 181.9445 through 181.9448. As amended, additional days may be granted at the discretion of district administration. And this is consistent language that was updated in all of our other contracts. So that is for the tech And I will just say now that I can repeat it if you want, but it's the same thing for bands C, D, and E.
So the same changes for
Yeah.
the other three as well.
It's just a
So I
language item update that didn't get into the contract.
Okay, I think we'll just go ahead and approve them with that knowledge. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next, we go to the approval of the non-affiliated Band C contracts. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further comment or question? If not, signify by saying aye for approval.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next, we go on to 11.04, approval of the non-affiliated Band D contracts. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next, we go to 11.05, approval of the non-affiliated Band E, Band E contracts.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comment or question? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. And, oh, we're down to adjournment. I'm looking for one more item to approve and we're done. I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Down to the wire.